Welcome. In this session, I'm going to discuss a few more questions from level 1 and then later we will see questions from level 2. So here the first question from the level 1. So which one of the following is not the function of insulin? So let's see first what's the functions of insulin. So insulin actually it reduces blood sugar level. It reduces blood sugar level. So how it reduces blood sugar levels? It does it by different ways. So we'll see here the first option increases the permeability of the cell membrane to glucose. Yes, so it will make the cell membrane permeable for glucose molecules, so thereby the cells take up the glucose. So the glucose, okay, is taken up by the cells. As a result, from the blood, the glucose is moved into the cells and thereby reducing the sugar, that is glucose, in the blood. So this is one function of the insulin. The first option is the function of the insulin. The next option, it increases the oxidation of glucose in the cells. So here, if more oxidation takes place inside the cell of the glucose, then it takes more glucose molecules from the blood. So this is also the function of insulin. Then coming to third option, initiates the conversion of glycogen to glucose. No, here what happens if we or if the insulin converts the glycogen to glucose, then it results in increase. So it increases blood sugar level. So it increases blood sugar level, and it is not the function of insulin. So it is not going to convert the glycogen to glucose. So this is the function of the hormone called glucagon. So glucagon, as I said, that it is a hyperglycemic factor, so it will help in raising the blood sugar level, whereas insulin reduces the blood sugar level. So hence insulin is a, okay, hypoglycemic factor. So it is a hypoglycemic factor. Then the last one initiates the formation of hepatic glycogen from excess of glucose. So excess glucose, whatever that excess glucose it is present, it is going to convert this excess glucose to glycogen and store it in the liver. So that is called the hepatic glycogen. So it is a liver glycogen. Hepatic glycogen is liver glycogen, right? So this is also the function of insulin. So during this it will reduce the glucose from the blood and then adds it to the liver cells. So this is also the function. So only the C option that actually raises the sugar level is not the option or not the function of insulin. So option C is right. Next question, oxytocin causes. So we know that this oxytocin is a hormone that is released from posterior pituitary gland, and this oxytocin has some functions like it acts on wall of uterus, so that helps in childbirth. And another function of oxytocin is it acts on mammary glands. Okay, so here not for the production of oxytocin, the production of milk in the mammary glands is due to prolactin. So whereas this oxytocin acts on mammary glands and helps in milk ejection. So in this question, oxytocin causes milk production? No. Okay, So the option B, that is milk ejection, will be the right answer, not water absorption in the kidney or any color change. It doesn't have these functions. So option B is right. So the next question, calcium regulation occurs with the help of. So let's see the options: thyroxine, parathormone, insulin, and glucagon. So here we will see about this thyroxine. So thyroxine is a one hormone from the thyroid gland, and so these play an important role in regulation in regulation of basal metabolic rate. So that's called BMR. So basal metabolic rate, and these hormones also support the process of red blood cell formation, support formation of RBCs, red blood cell formations. Okay, right, and also maintenance of water and electrolytes, maintenance of water and electrolyte balance is all functions of these thyroid hormones. Okay, so here the next one, parathormone, the function of parathormone hormone. So these parathormone hormones will play, so that increases. So this parathormone, also called of course PTH, parathyroid hormone, it increases calcium levels. It increases calcium levels in the blood. Increases calcium levels in the blood. So and another hormone actually called thyrocalcitonin. So this thyrocalcitonin is also called calcitonin. So this hormone actually decreases calcium levels in the blood. So here it is these two hormones that act antagonistic and then help in regulating the calcium levels in the blood, right? And we know insulin is related to sugar control. So here it decreases blood sugar, whereas glucagon increases blood sugar. Okay, so they are not concerned with the calcium regulation. So the calcium regulation occurs with the help of the parathormone uh, or PTH, that is parathyroid hormone. So option B is right. So the next question, a person entering an empty room suddenly finds a snake right in front. What happens to his neurohormonal control system? So here we will see sympathetic nervous system. So this one comes into action during emergency situations. So in emergency situations. Okay, whereas the parasympathetic nervous system will be in relaxed situations. In relaxed situations. Okay, so now let's see the options here. uh, Sympathetic nervous system activated, releasing epinephrine and norepinephrine from the medulla. Yes, the sympathetic nervous system is activated, that activated and releases epinephrine and norepinephrine. So these two hormones are the hormones what we call the emergency hormones, and they are called fight or flight hormones. So they are called fight or flight hormones and will help in emergency situations and released from the adrenal medulla gland. So this is uh, correct. So adrenal medulla region of adrenal gland, that is correct. Then second B option, activation of sympathetic nervous system releasing epinephrine and norepinephrine from adrenal cortex. No. So this is wrong. Adrenal cortex will produce corticoids. They are different mineralocorticoids and okay. Glucocorticoids are the hormones that are produced from this adrenal cortex. Then neurotransmitters diffuse rapidly across synaptic cleft. So this is not the one which is concerned with this question. So then hypothalamus activates parasympathetic nervous system. No. So this doesn't actually help in any sudden fighting with the situation. So the option A, that is sympathetic nervous system, will get activated and releases epinephrine and norepinephrine from adrenal medulla of adrenal gland, will help to fight with the situation. So that is option A is right. Next question, select the correct match of endocrine gland, its hormones and function. So let's see the first option, corpus luteum, estrogen. No, corpus luteum does not produce estrogen, so it produces progesterone, and that progesterone will help in maintaining pregnancy. So in this case, this is wrong, right? So there is no matching. Essential for maintenance of endometrium. No. Then Leydig cells, here they produce androgens, and androgens like testosterone will help in the production of sperms. Here this is the B the B is matching, so in all respects. Then ovary will produce FSH. No, ovary will not produce FSH. Okay, it produces estrogens and progestrogens, and this FSH is actually produced from pituitary gland and stimulates the follicular. Okay, so this statement is wrong. Development and secretion of estrogens, this is wrong. Then pancreas doesn't produce estrogen. Okay, so this is also wrong matching. So the only one which matches is Leydig cells that produce androgens and that initiate the production of sperms. So option B is the right answer. Next, let's see the next question. Identify the hormones A, B, and C that are labeled in the given flow chart. Okay, so we have seen here already the hypothalamus. So hypothalamus stimulates the pituitary gland. It produces GnRHs. So it's called gonadotropin releasing hormones. So these gonadotropin releasing hormones will act on pituitary gland. So they act on pituitary gland, and the pituitary gland in turn it produces FSH, that is follicle stimulating hormone, and LH, that is luteinizing hormone. And this FSH will act on ovary, so that helps in ovulation, whereas LH it will act on Leydig cells, of course, of testes, and that will help in production of androgens. Of course, FSH in case of males, I already given you that how this FSH will work in case of male. So here I'm just referring the picture and telling you. So let's see those options. Okay, so here it is as I mentioned, it should be GnRH here, and at the B it should be FSH, and at C it should be LH, that is luteinizing hormone. So here A GnRH, B FSH, and C LH. So option D is the right answer. Next question, how does steroid hormone influence the cellular activities? So here there is a mistake in the question. So it's not printed in your material. So it came as a changing membrane. So I request you to correct the sentence as like this. So changing the permeability of the cell membrane. So make it in this way, changing the permeability of the cell membrane. Then the B option, binding to DNA and forming a gene hormone complex. You will make okay, so make here also correction. It is only printed a gene hormone but not complex. So write down the complex also, right? So now let's see, how does steroid hormone influence the cellular activities? We know that okay, so the steroid hormones will pass through the membrane, and then so they finally enter into the nucleus. So they directly pass through the cell membrane and then enter into the nucleus, where we usually find its receptor, binds to its receptor, and then that hormone receptor complex will finally bind to the DNA where the gene is present. Okay, so you can see here, this is the receptor and this is the hormone. Okay, so this is receptor and hormone, so resulting in the formation of hormone receptor complex, and this will bind, okay, to its respective position. Okay, so let's see here, changing the permeability of the cell membrane. No, so that is not a answer. Binding to DNA and forming a gene hormone complex, yes. Then activating cyclic AMP located on the cell membrane. No, so that is not the function of steroid hormones. Okay, so the protein hormones will not have receptors inside the cell, they will have on the cell membrane. So activating cyclic AMP located on the cell membrane, so that will be a different case, okay, in case of that protein membrane, protein hormone. Then last one, using aquaporin channels as second messengers. No, aquaporins are completely related with the movement of water. It is not concerned here at all. So only binding to DNA and forming a gene hormone complex, that is option B is the right option. Next question from level 2. A patient of diabetes mellitus excretes glucose in urine even when he is kept in a carbohydrate free diet. It is because. So here the diabetes mellitus is caused when cells fail to respond to insulin. So as a result, there will be lot of glucose in blood, right? So because of this, the glucose will not be taken from the blood and there will be lot of glucose in the blood. So let's see the options. For fats are catabolized to form glucose. So here is a process called gluconeogenesis. So gluconeogenesis is a glucose formation of glucose from non-carbohydrate sources. So non-carbohydrate sources like these right fats and proteins will get converted into glucose. So here after a person is in starvation, the usage of materials, the substances in the body, it will be first they try to use the glucose, and then once that is finished, they will be converting the fats into glucose, and then lastly with the proteins, right? Now first let's see, fats are catabolized to form glucose. Yes, so this can be an answer. Let's see other options. Amino acids are catabolized in liver. Okay, so no, so this is concerned with proteins, and amino acids are discharged in bloodstream from liver. No, so this is also not the option. So glycogen from muscles is released in the bloodstream. So that is a this is a process called glycogenolysis. So where the glycogen is converted to glucose, right? So this happens when there is a less glucose in the blood. So here the first option, the fats are catabolized to form glucose, will be the right option. Okay, so the next question, hypothyroidism in adults and hyperparathyroidism. So here hypothyroidism is less production of thyroid hormones, less production of thyroid hormones, less production of this thyroid hormone results in a condition called causes a condition called myxoedema. So this myxoedema is caused because of hypothyroidism, and this have some symptoms like low body temperature, then right swelling of body, then difficulty in breathing, weakness, so etc. are some symptoms of this condition called myxoedema. So this is caused when thyroid hormones are produced in less quantity. So in hypothyroidism, so it causes a condition called myxoedema. Then coming to a hyperparathyroidism. In hyperparathyroidism, uh, which means here there is more production of parathyroid hormone. So that is PTH. So due to more production of parathyroid hormone, it results or it causes a disease condition called osteoitis fibrosa cystica. So is caused due to hyperparathyroidism. Okay, so here let's see the options, myxoedema and cretinism. So hypothyroidism, of course, both are the conditions of hypothyroidism, myxoedema and also cretinism. So this is seen especially in pregnant women with the hypothyroidism condition. So cretinism, okay, hypothyroidism in pregnant women is the condition. Then coming to the next option, Graves' disease. So here the Graves' disease is caused due to hyperthyroidism. Caused due to hyperthyroidism, and this Graves' disease is actually caused by characterized by, okay, caused due to hyperthyroidism, and it is characterized by enlargement of thyroid gland. So thyroid gland enlarges, and then there will be protrusion of eyeballs, and there will be increased BMR, so that is basal metabolic rate, and there will be weight loss also. Okay, so this Graves disease is also called exothalamic goiter, is also called exothalamic goiter. Okay, so Graves disease, uh, right, is because of hyperthyroidism, right? So hence the B option in this Graves disease we cannot take it. Then Hashimoto's disease. So this Hashimoto's disease is caused when the immune cells attack the thyroid gland. So it is a autoimmune disorder. Is autoimmune disorder where immune cells attack thyroid gland. So they attack thyroid gland. Okay, then so the C option, so here hypothyroidism is concerned with the right myxoedema condition, and hyperparathyroidism is concerned with the osteoarthritis fibrosa cystica. So it means the C option will be the right option. We'll see about even Addison's disease and cretinism. Already we have seen cretinism. So what actually is this Addison's disease? So Addison's disease, it is caused due to uh, low production of adrenal gland hormones. So Addison's disease, so caused due to low production of adrenal cortex hormones. Low production of adrenal cortex hormones. Okay, so this actually will alter the carbohydrate metabolism. As a result, the person will be having weakness and also fatigueness. So that is the Addison's disease, and it is because of low production of hormones from the adrenal cortex. So hence Addison disease is not concerned here. So only option C will be right. Next question, compared to a bull, a bullock is docile because of. So here, what is a bullock? So bullock is a male bovine animal. So it means you can take it, of course, ox. So but that has been castrated. So a male bovine animal that has been castrated. So here castrated, which means they removed testis. So they have removed testis. So removing testis is what we call castration. So here the bullock is a actually ox, and where they have removed this testis, that is castrated. Especially this kind of animals will be raised for the purpose of beef. So these are raised for beef, the meat of ox, right? And bull is the animal without castration, is without castration. Okay, whereas a bullock is with the castration, and it is mainly for the purpose of raising for beef. So here the males will be aggressive due to presence of a testosterone hormone. So the aggressiveness of male is due to testosterone. So here, as in case of bullock, it will be docile, means soft, not aggressive. So the docile, which means not aggressive, not aggressive. So because in a bullock, as the testes are removed, there is no production of testosterone. So hence it becomes very soft, means not aggressive. So higher levels of cortisone. So first option, no. So that is not an option. So lower levels of blood testosterone, yes, this is an option. Lower levels of adrenaline or noradrenaline, no, it is not considered, because we did not remove the adrenal gland. Then higher levels of thyroxine, no, that is higher levels will cause a different situation like exothalamic goiter. This is also not the answer. So the option B is the right answer. Next question, insulin receptors are, so extrinsic proteins, we know in case of extrinsic and intrinsic proteins. So when we see a cell membrane, so this is cell membrane with the lipid bilayer, okay, and we see some proteins are embedded in the membrane. So this is a intrinsic protein, is an intrinsic protein, and some proteins will be seen, okay, on the surface of the membrane. So this is a extrinsic protein, is an extrinsic protein, right? Now the insulin is a peptide hormone. So insulin is peptide hormone. So for peptide hormones, the receptor will be present, okay, in the cell membrane. So this is cell membrane, and for these peptide hormones, as I said, the receptor will be present in the cell membrane. Okay, so it means that it is a intrinsic protein. Okay, and coming to these G proteins, so what actually are these G proteins? So these G proteins are also called guanine nucleotide binding proteins. So these guanine nucleotide binding proteins actually help in transmitting the signals from outside to inside. So especially in these peptide hormones. Okay, so here on inside the cell there will be these G proteins, and these G proteins will convert the GTP to GDP, so which actually results in a chain of reactions to take place inside the cell. So whatever the signal that comes to outside is being transmitted into the cell, and these G proteins will be helping in that process, that is transmitting the signals, okay, from outside into the cell. And trimeric proteins, as the name tells, it's trimeric, means made up of three proteins. Okay, so the insulin receptors are intrinsic proteins, so that is option C is right. Next question, Addison's disease is caused due to. So I think just a few questions back we have discussed about this Addison's disease. So Addison's disease is caused due to hyposecretion of cortical hormones. Yes, so this is the answer, hyposecretion of adrenal cortical hormones. Let's see the B option, hypersecretion of growth hormone. So the hypersecretion of growth hormone results in gigantism. It results in gigantism. Then hyposecretion of thymus. The hyposecretion of thymus will result in less number of T lymphocytes. So less number of T lymphocytes, which indicates the person is having less immunity. Right. So Addison's disease is caused due to hyposecretion of adrenal cortical hormones. That is option A is right. Next question, gigantism and acromegaly are due to. So here this gigantism is caused during a child's growth. So if the growth hormone is produced in less quantities during the child's growth, then it results, produced in more quantities. So causes during child's growth. So if growth hormone is produced in more quantities, it's produced in more quantities. So causes during child's growth if growth hormone is produced in more quantities. And coming to acromegaly, so this acromegaly is caused in adults. It is caused in adults due to overproduction of growth hormone. So we know that growth hormone is produced from pituitary gland. It's produced from pituitary gland. So more growth hormone results in this condition. It means the overactive of pituitary gland is the result of this gigantism and acromegaly. So the gigantism is during the child's growth, whereas acromegaly in the adults. So hence the answer hyperthyroidism, no. Then hypopituitarism, no. Hyperpituitarism, yes. So it is because of hyperpituitarism, and option D is also not right. So option C is the right answer. With this question, I will end today's session. In tomorrow's session, we will see a few more questions from level 2 and then level 3.